Hey guys, morning all, wherever you are. Some of you morning, some of you it's afternoon. It's afternoon for me. It's about 2:15 in the afternoon UK time. And it's the 6th of January 2023. No trading yesterday. I had some personal stuff to take care of today. I hope everyone had a good day yesterday. I did have a look, a brief look yesterday just to see what was going on. So, who we got there? Morning Sharon, morning Philip, morning Nicholas. That's a new name. Let's have a look. Is an L or is it an I? Leonis, is that right? Leonis? I think you're a new face. Well, you're very welcome. Where are you from? Leonis. I think that's how you say that. I might be wrong. Hey all. Morning what? Or afternoon what? Yeah, it's afternoon for me. So we've had the non-farm payroll news. I keep saying, sometimes I say this morning because I know a lot of you guys are in the US, and sometimes I say the afternoon for me. But it was at 1:30 UK time, and we had a 52-point bar. You're from, it's Ionis. I apologise, Ionis. Are you from Greece? Oh, fantastic. Beautiful. Greece is lovely. I was in Rhodes last year. Beautiful place, Greece. Beautiful place, Greece. Okay, quickly, there is a second entry short here. The only trouble is we had the non-farm payroll and a 52-point bar, then we had a bit of a recovery, and we had quite a strong push up. So I'm still thinking up at the moment for me, so going short here is certainly a no-no for me, although I think those lows are the same. You could say that's a second entry short. Maybe it might come down, I don't know. But because of the positive non-farm payroll news, we could end up doing something like this, in which case I think upwards for me. Now, I'm not saying it's going to work, but my personal opinion is just a little bit risky for me. It's not a fantastic bar, although that one have closed, so it may come down, but not something I'm ready to get into just yet. I want to give things time to manoeuvre. So, hey Jacko, how you doing, buddy? Hey Sam, hi Mike, Roll Daddy, morning all. So, I hope everyone had a good day yesterday. I don't think there was a massive. I had a couple of looks at Marco's chart yesterday. I can't quite remember, to be honest with you. It was a bit of a funny day. As sort of a lot of you know, I had sort of some funeral plans to arrange yesterday, so most of my day was taken up. So yeah, we had the non-farm payroll. So that was a 52-point move, which is a fair old positive bar, that is. So I'm assuming just by that bar that it was pretty good news. We always then have a recovery, gain some of it back, and we gained around about 50% of it back. But then it's given us quite a strong positive move up. Now, I've been looking on the daily. I watch Max chart as well, and at some point we've been getting a bit sideways here for the last sort of week or so. At some point, it's likely we're going to have that second push down, but when that'll be, it's hard to say at the moment. We may get quite a strong push up after this news today. It's hard to say, or we may get sort of it may bounce off here a few times and then we may go down. So it's hard to say at the moment. So some sideways stuff at the moment for the last sort of week and a half, 10 days or so. A bit up, down, sort of. So what am I expecting, up or down today? Not sure at the moment. After that big strong move, you would like to think it would move up something, maybe something a bit wider. It's hard to say something. It's hard to say at the moment. It's too early at the moment. So, morning Sam. You had another good solid 1-to-1 yesterday, I noticed. Good on you, mate. Those 1s-to-1, I've got to say, make you feel so much better. They make you feel like there's a chance of you finally earning some money. And the thing I like about them, if you lose a trade and you win a trade, you're neither up or down. Whereas scalping the old way, the old 1 point, you lose a trade and you could lose 4 points. You could wipe out 4 scalps. It's heartbreaking. So that's the good thing about 1-to-1. But I've actually adjusted mine slightly to go for 4 points. In fact, 4 points and a tick. Because I watch a lot of top pick traders. What's his name? The top pick trader guy. Not Marco, the other guy. He goes for 4 points every time. And I've just been looking back over my charts and trades, and the good trades easily do it. Easily. And I kind of like 4 points, because if you scalp 4 points and did one trade a day, 5 days a week, that's $2,000 a week. That's over $8,000 a month just trading on one account with 2 contracts. And that is a phenomenal amount, really, what you can earn. So I really like the idea of the 4 points, which is, in most cases, is going to be 1-to-1. If you look at the ATR at the moment, if you add a tick above, tick below, that's probably 4.25 points total risk. So 1-to-1, yeah, exactly. So 1-to-1's just over 4 points there. So yeah, 3.5. That's it, Taylor. He always scalps 4 points. Now, I've not seen a massive amount of Taylor, but what I can see from his trading, he certainly knows what he's doing. So I've adjusted mine to 4 points and a tick. I kind of like to add a little extra tick in there, because as we get close to 4 points, I'm just going to jam my stop in there. And if we get an extra tick, that covers your fees then, see. So I kind of like that sort of number. But anywhere around about 3.5 to 4, you can just adjust it 1-to-1 as it is. There is a ratio tool here. Is it that one? Yeah, risk to reward ratio tool. So if I pick this red bar and I click it there and go above it, say I put let's say that's the actual bar, it gives me, I can set that so it gives me the ratio. So if I bring that down to say 1 tick below that red bar, 1 tick above it, I can actually bring my profit down or take it up to give me the relevant ticks to work out 1-to-1, or you can just eyeball it. It's just near as effective. So what else we got on here? Yeah, take it. Yeah. So yeah, Lance not trading today in the office at the moment, but a good week so far. Yeah, I've noticed your last couple of days. So you only need one trade, really, one winning trade at 1-to-1 to give you a really nice figure. And that's just trading one account, 2 contracts. Now you times that by 5 or 10, you're talking some serious monthly money there. So I'm glad it's working for you, mate. I think the more you do it, the more confidence you'll get in it. And I think 1-to-1 is probably going to become the new norm, hopefully. So yes, futures day trader. Good morning, my friend. Leading loser, morning. Dream trades, good morning. Mike, good morning. Keith, morning. How you doing, buddy? Are you working today or are you trading? I think you actually work with Sam, don't you? So maybe you're on the same shift. I don't know. Who've we missed? Ionis. I like that name. That's a nice name, that. Ionis. I'm assuming Ionis. Is that, are you a female, are you? Ionis? If it is Ionis, I'm pretty sure that is. But you never know sometimes. When you sort of get into sort of Europe and around the middle, names can be a little bit, they can sort of change a little bit. Morning, Roger. Mike. ES. How's the Discord room going? Julian, how you doing? Is it Julian or Julian? How do I say that? No, I used to work with Sam. Currently staving off and get a job. I don't know what your neck of the woods like, but down here, everyone is ill. There's so much stuff going around. I feel a lot better, actually. I've just full of congestion, which is just does your head in, doesn't it? It's all, you can feel it, the brow of your forehead, it's in your ears and all that. It's horrible getting older. With a Y, Julian. Okay, that's good. Nice to get people. He's male. So I'm assuming you're from Greece, or you're a friend of his. Nikros. Okay. Love that area. I lived in Cyprus for a few years when I was younger. I had a stepfather in the army, so beautiful part of the world around there. Beautiful part of the world, Greece. Beautiful. As I say, I've been to Rhodes. I spent a couple of weeks in Rhodes. I think it was last year. Year before last, I think it was. Yeah, same up here. Been off for the past. But yeah, everyone's got something at the moment, I've got to say. Yeah, I know the hospitals. I drove past the hospital the other day. There was about 10 ambulances just queuing outside. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. The one thing I don't understand is why are hospitals struggling so much? They dealt with COVID over the last couple of years. You think they would be on form. You know what I mean? You think they would be that, proficient at getting people in and out the door. But I don't know why hospitals seem to have. The only thing is, I suppose maybe they've just lost members of staff because of COVID. I suppose COVID had such a big effect on them. I think, didn't it? So that might just be why. Perhaps the NHS have just lost a lot of people. I suppose that's the only answer. He's male. Gotcha. Well, that's why I asked, just in case I refer to him as her. So yeah, that's why I asked. Okay, so market is due to open on my chart in about 3.5 minutes. We've got some news, some iSend Services news at 3 o'clock my time, which is about 30 minutes, just over 30 minutes. 35 minutes. So if that's positive as well, we may end up getting sort of some upwards movement, and we could end up getting something like this. This is just a wild stab in the dark, but strong push up. Sometimes when we get a bit of a pullback and a bit of a correction, then we get another leg. So I wouldn't be shocked, based on the NFP news we've had this morning, that does take another leg up. So I'll get rid of that for now, but that is something like that is a possibility. So yeah, okay, so market's due to open soon. So let's have a wee looky. Nice big mug of Yorkshire tea in front of me. Here in Canada, kids are getting sick and the hospital's putting a strain on. Such a lot of stuff around, but isn't it, at the moment? I know they've had big issues over here with strep. I think there's been a couple of kids lost their lives. That's going to be unbearable. I think one thing we did recently is there was we read about those kids who were on the lake. The lake was iced up, obviously not very thick ice, and the kids went through. I think there was two brothers, young lads. I think they were maybe 6 and 8 or somewhere 6 and 11, somewhere around there. Two brothers and a cousin. Oh, it's unbearable, isn't it? I don't know how the families would cope with something like that. I don't know. I think I'd end up in a bottle, I think. Terrible. That's the thing, the winter sometimes takes out a lot of the old folks, doesn't it? And then you hear stories like that about young kids. Shocking, that is. Something terrible, that is. Now, I'm not religious, and sometimes I have to question it when you hear about things like that. But some things we're just not meant to know, are we? You're up, morning cork, you're up $2,000 after 2 trades. Excellent. That is the time to get yourself a nice fancy bottle of champagne and put your feet up. Well, to us it would be. Okay, so we've had a couple of legs down here, and we've had a break, followed by a bearish engulfing bar. As I say, at the moment, it has triggered, but it is pushing back up. So whether we'll get a push and another push. It's hard to say at the moment with that big positive news, and that we had a bit of a correction, then we've had quite a strong move up. I wouldn't be surprised if we had another leg, we did have a break and a couple of attempts at a new high, which we didn't make. So I wouldn't be shocked if we did get up here at some point soon. First was an Albrook style. Jump on the trend. Yeah, I did start watching Albrooks a little bit. I think he's what they call the granddaddy of price action. Apparently he was a doctor originally, wasn't he? He was at a medical school initially when he started out. I did read a little bit about him. Okay, market has just opened 30 seconds ago. Okay, so we've had these two legs down. We've had a break and a new low. So let's see what happens here, whether we do push back up again. I wouldn't be stunned. Second entry short. Did you take? I'm assuming that was the bar, possibly, wasn't it? Obviously a lot better on your chart than mine. Just a little bit about it. Easy about going short just at the moment, but especially after we've had this. And we had that engulfing bar, but I kind of like a couple of legs really, and there was nothing really there for me to take. This ISM services news, I don't know what's expected there. I know the non-farm payroll, I believe that is jobs, not including farm workers and private home workers, I believe. But that's obviously positive. So jobs are on the up, which is always a good thing. If the economy is ever going to get back nicely on its feet, then things like that are a good start. Hopefully then maybe inflation starts to come down. I think it was down a fraction, wasn't it? Which is heading in the right direction. That's the main thing. But it was a given really that we were going to be affected like this after COVID. COVID took so many people out of the workforce. I know in the UK, I would say probably about a quarter of the population of the country was sent home on 80% paid by the government. And you can't throw money around like that and not have some sort of financial consequences. It was always going to happen. Okay, we've had two pushes up, and that's a hidden second entry short. I'm not ready to go short just at the moment because we've had this break and a new low. We've had a couple of strong push above the EMA. So I'm thinking possibly maybe a second leg up at some point, personally. Has that triggered yet? I don't know, but I'm guessing it's going to trigger and then possibly push up. Expecting slightly slow inflation, yeah. Anything slightly is good though, isn't it? Okay, yeah, so we've had quite a strong push through the EMA. It's bounced off it a few times and had another strong push up. So that's what I was expecting after this news. So we may end up having something like this. May end up being something like that. Kind of like the way that sits there. I'm going to leave that there for now. At least then if it comes back here. In fact, you know what? I'm not going to actually because it might give me the wrong impression just at the moment. Let's just put that there like that. Okay. At least we know. Because at the moment, we're sort of really ranging at the moment. We've had this sort of quite push up, a couple of pullbacks, break new low, and we've pushed straight back up again, which is what I was expecting. We've got yesterday's highs up here. Let's see what happens when we get to the top of this channel at the moment. Here's a treat for everyone. Go on then. Spit it out. That is a second entry short. A bit risky. Let's see if there's any shorts there. Yeah, it's quite strongly moving up actually. Definitely expecting a new high now. I don't think we'll have a problem getting there. This is part of a great vid from Tom Dante. Not sure who he is. Okay, I think we're going to smash through this high, no problem. I'm going to put that like that, and I'm going to move the top off because this is such a strong move. I'd expect it to go to this side of the channel. Starts here, touches here, touches here. With such a strong move, that would take it over to the side of the channel. So let's see what happens when we come back here. I'm expecting a new high after that strong move. So let's see if we can get a decent pullback and a decent. I'm just going to get an order just in case. Let me just check where that news is. Okay, we've got 25 minutes. 25 minutes till the news. So let's get an order ready. And it is possible we'll have a couple of legs down. You just don't know, but it's just the way it's held there. Let's see what happens if it. See what it does here. But that's quite a strong move, and I'd expect that to make a new high. Zoom in a little bit, see if we can get a higher low. I kind of hope that finishes bearish. Yeah, it is. Now, there may be some shorts there. So if that pushes above there, which it's not going to, obviously. What's that done? 2 points, is it? Yeah, okay. Wow. That is a strong rejection. Okay, so let's say for now this is lightly. 2 legs down, see what happens here. This could be. Let's do something like that for now, that would make sense. Okay, that's 2 clear legs down. Let's get an order ready. Strong push up, drop back down. I'd expect some sort of rejection from here, a push up. Oh, wasn't expecting that. Okay, let's. Wow, that's a strong move down. Don't pick bottoms. Well, to be honest with you, this to me looks like a range. If we were going to get a big bearish bar, a big bullish bar there, I was going to wait for a higher high. Especially after this big strong move up. Yeah, come on, Kirk, don't leave people in suspense. That's just plain cruel. Spit it out, lad. Just going to get rid of that so I don't forget it's there. It's a good idea to know what you're thinking, though, as well, bud. If you think something's happening, then you can keep an eye out for a setup based on that, yeah? I've got to have an idea where the market's likely to go to trade it right. Otherwise, you could just end up looking for patterns with the wrong context. So when we get a break of a trend and we come back to the EMA, I think it's likely to go down. So if I get a decent setup, but if the context isn't right, okay. Take a screenshot of that, otherwise I'll lose it later. I reckon you're going to send a sort of wild goose chase here. Photo. Search for stories from 15 years as a trader, part 1 from Tom Dante. Okay. Yeah, if you look at actually, Mike, I'm just looking at the daily now. This, if you get down the bottom of here, that's going to look like a bearish pin bar, isn't it? And it's almost looking then, because that bit of sideways stuff is pushing down. So it's pushing down. If this goes down to the bottom, it's pushing down in quite a bearish pin bar to the bottom of that range. So that could be where it drops out. Okay, this was the market. Sorry, this was the overnight. Well, actually, that's the daily. Was that the daily open? Yeah, it's the open. This is the open. Yeah, not advisable. Depending on the news, I know Mac says at least 30 minutes, sometimes an hour, depending. I think before we had that news, we tend to go sideways a bit, didn't we? But it sort of has rejected off that the open. Last night's open, yesterday's open. Interesting to see what happens here. I'm expecting a possible second leg. Yeah, if anyone went short there, I think you're possibly going to get stopped out. It's just too far away, that is. Even if I wanted to take a trade there, I'd like 2 pushes up. Mind you, it is that strong, it could just, might not even get there. We've had a new low. That is a second entry long. I wouldn't be shocked if there were some longs there. Pushing off the daily open. See what happens if this triggers below here. I think we might get another push down after this. See what happens. Tried poker, just lost interest in it. A lot of skill to poker, isn't there? A lot of skill to poker. I think it's more about skill than it is luck at the cards, isn't it, with poker? I know it's big business in the US, isn't it? And we had it on TV, maybe sort of, it was big, maybe sort of 10, 15 years ago. We had a phase, everyone was getting them silver cases with all the chips in at Christmas. I had one of them. It's still up in the attic probably somewhere. Yeah, I know it's big in the US. They have massive competitions with horrendous amounts of money. Poker and trading. That's similar. Got to say, if you're a gambler, I think you'd probably struggle with trading, wouldn't you? See, gambling's never really interested me. But I think if you're a gambler, I think you would find it extra hard as a trader. I think if you're a gambler, you just have that natural tendency to just want to jump in. Okay, let's actually close the nearest tick, that is. One would think we'll be coming back down. Techno King, how you doing, buddy? Everyone well in the green. Well, we're in the white at the moment, in the 0. Okay, that's 2 pushes up. Push up, bit of sideways, push up. I'd guess we're going to be coming down. I'm still thinking about this second leg down. Casinos are a scam. Just a numbers game with the casinos, isn't it? In fact, they work on very, very small margins, isn't it? Something like 2.5%. I think in theory, you're supposed to win 97.5% of your dollar back. I think they work on a very small margin. Okay, that's blown my theory out the water. So what's going on? Okay, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break, make myself another cup of tea. I won't be trading until after the news is happened and settle back down anyway. So just talk amongst yourselves, and I'll be back in 5 or 6 minutes. this news is about due in about 10 seconds on my chart. Okay, so far, very similar to what we had earlier. We've recovered most of it, actually. 2/3 of it. Hey, Kim, how you doing, buddy? Just drawn that there. It's actually the middle line of that range. It's bounced off there. Let's see what happens here. Okay. So that is a possible second entry long. Just get an order ready. Just in case we can push it up here and get a lower high. So that is a second entry long. Not a fan of the candle. I don't like the way it's below the EMA, and the EMA is a bit flat. I'm waiting for a push above it. Let's have one back a little bit. Okay, if it breaks above here, then I'm favouring we're going up then. So there's a second entry long, see what happens here. If it doesn't break below here, I'm hoping. And we can get above here. Okay, maybe the next candle. Okay, that hasn't worked. We've had an overshoot. We often get the same this side, but I'm expecting a new high because we're clearly up here in a trend channel in a fashion. Let's see what happens if we can get another push above here. See, that is a failure. Failed second entry long, which was made. It's made a few points at us, so let's see if we can push above here and get something. Okay, if that triggers below, I'm hoping it does. That might trap a few more shorts then. I don't know if it's going to. Hopefully if it triggers below, trap some shorts, because I reckon there'll be some shorts there as well. Come on, okay, now push up. Let's see if this is our higher high. See what happens. Okay, I like that. I like that. Let's push up to the top, give that an extra tick. Need to get above here. I like the fact that we've had a new low and we've had a higher high. I think it's okay. It's above the EMA. EMA is a bit flat, but I am still thinking after this overshoot, we're making a new high. But we need a strong push up. We need to get above here. Okay, I'm expecting a new high now. So that was a bit dicey, but it didn't break below. I'm still expecting a new high, so let's see if we can get something half decent out of this. Gonna keep that tight because we're coming to the top. Hopefully, we get a quick push. Oh, without that. There we go. Okay. Okay, that was a bit dicey, but having said that, so we had an overshoot, and we usually get the opposite, which we did. We made a new low, then we had a higher high. Now, just because these two bars came down and ticked at the same level doesn't necessarily mean it was a bad trade. And I see a lot of Max, and he'll put orders here or here, and it'll come down 2 or 3 times and tick exactly the same level and push up, and he still leaves that as a good trade. You said that the other day, Brant, that was luck, and I don't agree. I disagreed with the other day, and I'll tell you why. we've had some strong, we had a bit of strong news, positive news. We had some positive news over there. Now this, to me, touched here, touched here, touched here. We've had an overshoot this side, which we often get the opposite side. Okay, so then we had a new low, then we had a strong push up, push above, and then we had that higher low, which I took. Now, in a lot of cases, and I've said this before, you look at max charts, they quite often do this, and then we had the strong push up to the new high, which is what I was expecting, and that's why I let the trade go. So I don't think you can say that's luck. That's what I assumed was going to happen, and it happened. And I've assumed those sort of things a lot of times before, and they've all happened. So you shouldn't come in there and say it's luck, because, it's not. Is it luck we made a new high? No, I believe we're going to make a new high. That's why I held on. So, you're entitled to think what you think. An overshoot, yes, it can lead to a reversal, which is why I waited for a setup, because I'm looking at what's happened so far. Yeah, we've had some good positive news in the non-farm payroll. We had some relatively positive news in the ISM news, so I'm thinking we'd have to push up. So we had that strong push up, then we made a couple of legs, we came down and recovered, and then we've had another push up here, and I believe we were going to go up and make a new high, which is why I held on. But that's a new low. We pushed through, and we had a higher low, or a lower higher high, which was right sat on top. And as far as I'm concerned, that was the entry I took. Yes, it came down twice, but it didn't push below it. And often that happens. And then we had that good strong push up, which is what I was expecting. So I don't think it was a bad setup, but I certainly don't think it was luck. If I was working on luck, I wouldn't have been able to get the account up to $6,500 and a pass a $3,000. What's it? So you've got to just trade it how you see it. And as far as I'm concerned, we had that overshoot. Yes, sometimes it can lead to a reversal, but the way we've pushed up and the way I'm expecting to come up to these highs, and I think that was an okay trade. Was it a 9 out of 10 trade? No, it was maybe a 7.5 or an 8 trade. But it is what it is. What did I get? 9.5 points out of it. That's why I held on. I jammed it in there. But it is what it is. But it's saying it's luck. It's not luck. It's a judgment, and it was a judgment that worked. And most judgments I take, apart from those 3 days, work because based on what I'm seeing, we pushed up through the EMA. We had a higher high. I took it. Yeah, it fannied around a couple of times, but it often does. None of the setups are perfect, but to me, that's the setup I was looking for. A higher high, strong push up, higher high. I'm expecting a new high, which we had. Yeah, I know what you're saying. You saw congestion overshoot for but that's why I have to trade this how I see it. It just doesn't work otherwise. And they're quick moves. Yeah, the EMA is going to go flat. It is because we've had a strong push down here, and we've had a break. And obviously the overshoots created this couple of legs down, which is causing that EMA to dip a bit. And it is. Look at a lot of max trades, and you'll see. Just because the EMA goes flat doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be congested. That little bit is congestion, but usually the trade wins off if it's, if the context is right. And I believe the context was right. And yeah, we had a little bit of silence, but then the trade did what I expected it to do, to make a new extreme. But I was basing part of that decision on the news we had there and the news we had there, which were quite positive. And basically, I was expecting a push up to get up here somewhere, but it is what it is. I traded it. It works. Okay, so I might lose 3.5 points sometimes, but I'd made 3 times that. So the risk was about 2.5. So, I mean, even if I'm getting that right 50% of the time, even if that was a 50% trade, I'm expecting it to get up to the high. You work those odds, that's two and a half times. So if I'm getting that, even if I'm getting these right, those without those points, 50% of the time, I'm still going to make money. So we've all got to make judgments, haven't we? And, sometimes they're right and sometimes they're wrong. But I thought the chance of that pushing up based on the news we had and based on where it is at the moment was worth taking. I just took a second. Say, Julian, I took a second long entry. Second entry long. Let's have a look. Don't expect yourself next time. Trade your chart. Yeah, it's just the way Brant mentioned it was luck. He mentioned that the other day. And I just wanted to say, based on the decision I made, if it was luck, I might as well close my eyes and click the button. But yeah, Rodian, I thought that was a good trade. Yeah, I thought the trade was okay. I mean, high probability, I know a lot of traders, high probability trades can literally be 95, 98%. I was expecting that to push up, so I was after, because we had, quite a way to go to these highs. I knew if the trade was going to work, and I expected it to have a good push up. There was a possible, even just to the highs, there was a possible 8.5 points in there. So even if I was taking that at 2 to 1, if I'm making 2 to 1, I don't even need to get it right 50% of the time. How do I get rid of that? I've just gone blank. There we go. Yeah, I suppose the decision, part of the decision is on the risk to reward, isn't it? What you're likely to get. Now, we usually trade up to the highs. I knew the highs were quite a distance there. So let's see what happens when we get up here. Every time we've popped up here. So this is where now I need to be sort of extra careful. Possible second entry short. I love a bit of banter, Brant. You do as well, don't you? You guys can say what you want. I don't really get offended. You guys are missing the point. No one said it was a guess or random lucky trade. The signal bars were right around the entry. Were not ideal. Well, it's one of those things, and that's the trouble when you're scalping these things, when you're trading this. It's fast-moving stuff, isn't it? So I saw this overshoot, then a strong push down, push up, and another push down to a new low. Yeah, so that for me compensated. Let's just talk about the overshoot. That for me compensated for the low. Then we had a push above, and we had that bullish bar, or a tick or so off the bullish bar above the EMA. So I took it. I'm expecting it was a higher high, and I know it was a higher high. And yes, it came down here and touched another couple of times, and it could have took me out. But I often see Max trades, and he puts a red tick at a good trade, and in some cases it'll come down and tick exactly the same place. He still classes it as a good trade. So it's hard to say sometimes, isn't it? That's why some we get right, some we get wrong. But I like the way there was a good distance to the top, so I knew if I got it, I was going to take my profit up. But yeah, I mean, we've got to make quick decisions, and I mean, literally, you wait till that. So it's literally the last second where you decide to get into a trade like that, and that's sort of the issue sometimes, isn't it? It's hard to Don't trade fear and FOMO. Swing the big stick. Keep swinging smartly. Take a shot. Yeah, see. Right. This is where I become extra careful. See, if now I've opened this trade up and I look at this, it looks an even better trade, I think. 2 legs down, push up through the EMA, bullish bar. Yeah, it came down a couple of times, but now I've opened this up, and that seems to be fitting really nice there. It looks a safer trade, if you want to put it like that. And I'm not saying my arse didn't twitch, but yeah, the trade worked. Yeah, caught 7 points off the same trade, did you? Well done, mate. Negatives help keep you out. Yeah. I wish I had a little bit more of that safety measure in me. Let's see what happens here. So we've not quite hit the same high. There is a possible second entry long here. I'm just going to get an order ready. Something I don't like about that. Okay, that's why. It's just the way we're close to the top and we're slowly pulling back, aren't we? So we're losing sort of momentum a little bit. It did have a bit of congestion. It did have a little flat EMA, but the context was solid and worth the risk. Yeah, it's one of the. It's more of a personal thing, that isn't it? Sometimes the EMA does go, but the EMA's flat as hell there. Look what happened, rocketed up. So there is a point where that's all part of the correction, isn't it? We go up, we have a bit of a flat EMA because we have this pullback and it flattens the EMA a little bit out, and it's obviously done a little more there. Yeah, a lot of the time it's a personal judgment thing, I think, isn't it? Some will take it, some won't. Might look better. It might look even more bullish on other charts. But the trouble is, if you take away those next 3 bars there, you'll just see these 2 legs down, obviously bouncing off here, which actually looks right. If you look there, that fits nice there. And then obviously we pushed up and we had a higher low. But it is what it is, isn't it? Okay, so we've nearly come up to the top here. Let's have a look. In fact, we've come up to about as high as we did there, the close anyway. So, and there, actually, the body close higher than both of those, so that might be moving down time. The range EMA is less important. Going to say, it does make you wonder how the hell you would survive without the EMA, wouldn't you? It's such a, you often wonder when they put these different indicators in how much of a part they actually play. But this is almost like if you're stranded in the sea, this is literally our flotation device, isn't it? You take away that, you might as well close your eyes, I think, or at least shut one eye and put your arm behind your back. trend then, range then, trend, yeah. Sorry about that. I got my one of my dogs in the bedroom. Keeps whining. Okay, so we've had a break and a new low. Broke out this channel. Not quite. It is a new low, isn't it? Yeah, it is. Okay, let's see how this, if we can get a push above the EMA. Yeah, it's just not something I can get into a short with, really, for a start one. It's a massive bar. Just wondering, there's going to be some shorts trapped there, I would have said. Whether it'll get up or not, I don't know. Still trading after such a great win. Well, what I tend to do is sit here until I see literally something scream at me. So I kind of like to do a couple at least. And I know sometimes it's easy to go, oh, I'll take that and run when, but I'm just going to sit around. Yeah, I mean, it's only early. Yeah, I've been trading an hour. What will all you guys do without me? Without my amazing wit and interesting chit-chat? You'll all be lost. You'll be lost, Brant, won't you? He needs me. I think my wife kind of likes me out of the way, actually. She's downstairs in a bit of washing. So, there is no other news today, is there? So a little overlook. Okay, so we're certainly in a range day as a fashion, aren't we, I think? Yeah, I don't think there's we sort of bounced sort of nicely right off the top there, haven't we? See what happens here, whether we push up, maybe this may turn into a bigger overall trend with the news. Hard to say, isn't it, at the moment? The voice of reason. I like that. The voice of reason. Could be my stage name. At least I'm a lot less coffee and sniffy today. Yeah, it could end up maybe a bigger trend. It's hard to say, isn't it? Because the daily's just been a bit sideways, and we've had quite a push up. Based on what we've seen over the last 7 or 8 days, it's hard to say, isn't it? It could go up, could go down. I think it's safe to say we're ranging at the moment. And it has respected the tops there, hasn't it? Okay. I would maybe actually get work done. You lost £1,000 yesterday, did you? Did you really? On not for real, did you? What was it on? What account was it on, Albert? In fact, the way I had my last 3 days, mate, I think you'd be safer probably staying away, wouldn't you? I think. What is going on here? Let me just get rid of that a minute. Okay, so we've had a break and a new low. There we got another couple of pushes up. See what happens here. Maybe we are trying to move up a bit. You lost 1,000. What's it on, mate? You've won if you don't mind me asking. Is it about? See, if you lose $1,000 and you're on 10 grand, it's not such a major issue. If you're on 4 or 5 grand and you lose 1,000, it's a little bit more of a heartache, isn't it? It's kind of an exciting time, Albert. I've got to say, you're obviously feeling the same way as me. It's an exciting time, but it can be nerve-wracking sometimes. I had 18 days, green days in a row, and I felt great on top of the world, and then I had one red day, and that rattled me. Red day, and then I had another one, and then another one, and then you start to doubt yourself. You're thinking, well, what am I doing wrong? What's changed? And I think the only thing you can put it down to is maybe your trade choice. You're sort of kind of a little bit more urgent to get it back. So I think there's a bit more urgency in your trades. So that's the only thing I can put it down to. It was 27 grand. 27 grand. And you lost 1,000 quid. That's peanuts. 27 grand. That's brilliant, mate. Good on you. Yeah, I don't know about you here watching me. I should be watching you. Have you got a YouTube channel? Start streaming. 27 grand. Oh, that must be nice. Is it just the one account you've got, is it? Oh, I'd love to have that 27 grand. I could just take 2 or 3 contracts and just not have to worry about it. I've got to say, having that much in there's got to take the stress out of trading, isn't it? And with that amount, I'd say you've probably already had your 3 PA payments, I'd say. Good for you, mate. I really love hearing about people doing well. It just gives me a little bit more inspiration, a little bit more motivation and drive to knowing, because a lot of the times when guys start earning decent money out of trading, they sort of disappear out of the sort of learning curve. No, I mean, 2 grand up of 25. 2 grand up of 25. Okay, so you got 20. I got even 25. There's no shame in that, mate. $25,000. Wow. That's good, that is. You've had to build that up, see, from zero. I'll tell you what, mate. After doing this a couple of years and knowing how hard trade it is, I take my hat off to you. Anybody who can build an account like that, that's phenomenal. It really is. Good on you. I love hearing about people doing well. Took my 350p up to £900 on the first day. Yeah, see, I had, as you probably know, I had a couple of I think you probably know, I had a couple of PAs on that trade copy and had a bad experience with it. In fact, I opened Trade Copier today, and what I was going to do is do my PA as the main account and do a sim as the copied account and just let it run so I can get a little bit of confidence back in it, because I don't really want to use it now without playing around with it. So I thought if I use that as my PA account, that's by the by then, isn't it? That one works as it's supposed to, and then it's just a sim to follow it. So I might do that tomorrow, next week, and just get a little bit of confidence back in it, because I've got to say, it rattled me a little bit. So at least then when I've made a little bit of money and we get another good deal, 80% off deal, then I might get maybe 3 or 5. The thing I like is I'm going to get a payment of $2,000 coming out of that next week. I think it's the end of next week. And if you've got 5 accounts, that'll be $10,000. Not bad for your first payment. So I kind of like the idea now of having extra accounts. I never did before when I was failing them, because I thought if I'm failing one, I'm failing 5 or 10 of them. I'm just chucking more money away. But once you get it to work, I like the idea of sticking to 2 contracts, but having 5 accounts. So effectively, you're trading 10 contracts, aren't you? But all I ever see is this amount floating around. I mean, if I take that up to 10 contracts, I'm going to see a larger amount, moving up and down, and I think that's going to have like a certain psychological effect on you, isn't it? If my trade maximum loss for a trade now is $400, if I times that by 5, and you know what I mean, it's going to look a lot scarier. So I kind of like today my third 50 up $900. Yeah, it's a nice feeling, that, isn't it? I think I had quite a good one on my first day. I can't remember now, but there's nothing nicer than having a good one, especially on your first day. Just makes you sleep a bit easy, doesn't it? Okay, so we have broken here. So this may then possibly move up a little bit more, possibly. So we have broken a new high. We've got yesterday's highs, I think, isn't it? Yesterday's high. There. Let's see if we move up to that. Excuse me a minute, I'm just going to clear my chest. Tesla almost hit $101. It's back up. Yeah, my cryptos have been absolutely battered. I got to say, it's probably going to take me years to get that back. I probably lost about 90%. I haven't got a phenomenal amount. I have a few thousand quid's worth of cryptos. I had some Solana. I think I bought Solana when it was about $150. It went up to $260 Solana. And I think it's around about the $13 at the moment. It's taken a battering. Was it the it was the company that went bump? I can't remember, but I know my Solana's took a battering. Everything else really, there's nothing. I think the only one that's held relatively steadily is just below Bitcoin, isn't it? What's it called? Gone blank. That's not too bad. That went down below $1,000, but it's steadily. It's only lost about, I'd say, 2/3, where some of them are down 90-95%, maybe more, some of them. So that's the thing with crypto. You can make a lot of money in crypto, but also you can lose a lot of money. And I think the trick is with crypto, you're just going to have to sit tight. But it should recover at some point. It usually does. Sometimes we always have these big drops. We did have a couple of years ago, we had a big drop. I know things like Bitcoin went from $2,000 to $200 before it hit $20,000. So they do tend to recover. I like that range there, that channel. That's fit really nice there. Ethereum, yeah. Ethereum has been quite steady. I think it was up to about $4,500. What is it, 1,400? But it seemed to hold pretty well, that as it hasn't quite got the battery and everything else has. What's it came down to about? Came down to about 15,000, didn't it? So that came down maybe sort of 80%. But Ethereum seems to have done well. But there was a lot of rumours that Solana was eventually going to take over from, because Solana has its own blockchain that it was going to sort of take over and turn into, because I think the speeds, I forget what they're called now. I think the speed is a lot quicker and a lot cheaper, I think, to, or is it the gas fees? Okay, so it's coming up to yesterday's highs, so see what happens here. Let's just pull that down a minute. Out of the way. That's a bit better. So I was hip. Oh, that was at FTX. Yeah. Solana was a really good project. I think it still is. I think it's just people have just lost a bit of faith. I did well out of Saitama. I did really well out of Saitama. I made about 400% out of Shiba Inu. I just happened to buy that when it was low. I bought that, I think, at 0.8, I can't remember, 0.0008, and it went up about 600%. Actually, that did 600 or 700%. I got 400% out of that. Made a nice few grand out of that. But then I started to sort of dollar cost average and buy bits. And then it started sort of slowly coming down. But it happens. It's happened before plenty of times, and they usually recover. Most of them, you do tend to shed off. I think there's something like about 6,000 cryptos now, so I dare say this bear market's going to shake off a lot of the new stuff. Okay, so it has bounced off yesterday's highs. So. Glad to be crypto free. Yeah, it's not the best time. In fact, to be honest with you, the smart investors now are the ones that are buying it. Everyone else is panicked and staying away from it, but actually the smart investors, I think they say bull markets make people wealthy, bear markets make people rich. So obviously as the price is coming down, if you're buying and buying and buying, you can make a lot of money as when they go up. The smart investor tends to buy when everyone else is panicking, the market's dropping. That's when the smart guys are picking more up. Yeah, I'd say the stress from crypto is probably more detrimental to your health than the alcohol, I'd say. If you really want to improve your health, Jacko, go be single, mate. Yeah. Give women a wide berth. I've seen friends get destroyed by women a lot more than cryptocurrency and alcohol. Luckily, I got a good woman. I'm lucky there. Now, there is a possible fail second entry long there, but that's risky around there. The top sort of third of the trend channel, especially as we've had this overshoot, which it fits there pretty well, actually. Touch. It doesn't fit too bad on there, so I think we've had a bit of an overshoot. So risky there, I think. Not saying it's not going to go up, but it's certainly more riskier there. $52 years, Roger. What's that? 52 years married or 52 years single? Both. My wife's great. 13 years. Good on you, mate. Yeah, I've been with my wife now. I'm 53 now, since I was been with her for 30 years, and we got married 15 years ago. But yeah, I got a good woman. She's put up with more my little get-rich-quick schemes over the years. And she's been very supportive with trading, very supportive. Surprisingly enough, because I have spent such a lot of my life, and my whole life sort of evolved around trading, I got to say. But she's quite self-sufficient, my wife. In fact, she's a bit of an obsessive cleaner type. So she kind of likes me out of the way. So it's sort of win-win. Okay, there is a hidden second entry long there, but personally, I think that's a bit risky, especially above. As we've had this overshoot, I'd expect this to come back down this way. And there is 3 bars sort of side by side. I don't know. Maybe the momentum, that's quite a strong push up. Maybe the momentum may carry it. 52 years married. Good on you, Roger. Great. Take us, try and take a snapshot of your medal, and then post it. 52 years. That's good. That is. Yeah, that's something to be congratulated with. That's really good. "52 years, good grief. So you got married the year after I was born." I don't know whether that makes you sound really old or me sound really young. Can't go with the latter, I think. Yeah, it's good if you can hold a marriage together through all your ups and downs, and you're going to have plenty of them. If there's anybody who isn't married yet, you're going to have your fair share of ups and downs. I think marriages usually just get stronger and stronger. Okay, big bearish bar here. I'm guessing we're going to have a push down now. That's very bearish, that is, if it finishes low. But it's not something I really want to get into. It's not working anyway. Okay, I'm guessing now that is enough to move it up. Did push down really strongly, didn't it? But just rejected it straight off. So I'd say after we've had that new low, higher low, push down, didn't reject it quite as high as I would have liked, but obviously the 2000 trade run out before it got up there. But I'm guessing with that and that rejection from there, I'm guessing it may give it that push up, but it's just a little bit too not far off dojies for me. But as I say, that the trades in that particular bar obviously closed not a little bit longer, maybe, but it would pushed up. But we had that real rejection off here, didn't we? So it's just hard to say at the moment. They've made 3 women very rich over the years. Well, that's something to be commended with. That's very, very good of you. Yeah. Such a nice guy you are. You know, in the crypto box no more. Okay, after we had that, that's what I was expecting. Didn't finish on its high, but I think the trades run out. The 2000 trades ended before I had a chance, but we had that big push down, didn't we? And then that rejection straight off. EMA's pointing upwards. Use fire as husband. So let's see if we can rearrange this, see if that works out any better. Maybe. That probably looks a little bit better, actually. It sort of fits quite nice, that does. So, yeah, after those bits of good news, it's just after that bit of strong news, we usually recover, don't we? When we pushed up and we came right down to more or less where we started. And then we had a solid move up ever since. Yeah, that looks about right, that is. So, it'd be nice to get something like this for a chunk of the day, wouldn't it? And get some opportunities. Much easier sort of trade. I'm not saying there's a lot more opportunities, but they're a lot easier to read and trade when you get these trends, rather than all this sort of shit bouncing up and down. It's confusing sometimes, isn't it? It's nice when it moves in one direction, which doesn't often happen. I think they say we get something like 85% range days. But that seems to fit quite nice, that does. It's fitting along the top's quite nice. It may even... yeah, we can just adjust that as and when. I remember my wedding day, we went over to Kenya. Went to Kenya for a couple of weeks and we went on safari. Fantastic. You ever get the opportunity to go to Kenya? Absolutely stunning place. And I got married on a beach in a black tuxedo. I've never sweated so much in my life. Probably a bad choice of wear for the day. But it was a great day, I got to say. We met a bunch of people over there because we just went, the two of us. And we met a bunch of people over there that we got on with really well. And they were out there the week before us. And the day we were married, that was the day they were going back. So we had a word with the registrar because we got on with them so well, and we asked if we could bring our wedding a day forward. And they ran around and did a fantastic job. That way all the people we'd become friends with managed to be at the wedding do. And it was a really nice, great day. Weather was stunning. Everyone was friendly. It was just a really, really nice day, I got to say. Wife looked beautiful. Yeah, it's a great memory. Seems like a lifetime away, but got to say as well, much cheaper to go do it abroad. Much cheaper. It didn't cost us a lot of money, really. I think, including everything. For the 2 weeks away, all the clothes, everything was about 8,000 or something. You pay a fortune for weddings nowadays, but that was everything, including spending money, clothing the whole trip. I got to say, it's the clothes shopping I didn't enjoy leading up to it. We must have went to 5 different cities just for buying my wife a pair of shoes, and we ended up getting them about 2 miles up the road. Probably the first shop we went to. Across. Talking about a diamond ring, I bought my wife a ring. Lovely ring. I think it was about 550 English pounds. Square diamond it was. And we went to, where did we go to? I think it was Turkey. We went on holiday to Turkey. And we were on about buying my wife an eternity ring. So we went into this really nice jeweller's. And he took my wife's ring off and had a look at a ring under the little round thing. And he went, and he said something, and my wife went, "What does that mean?" He went, "Well, this is usually what you'll find when you cut the little horrible bit off the edge of a diamond ring," which wasn't the nicest thing to say to my wife. Yeah, this was like the dregs, if you like. Okay, now if we can break out the bottom here, get around here, then I might run that back up. We've had a break. Not necessarily a new high, it's the same high as here. So if you can have a couple of legs down to here, then I'll favour that to get up then. So I'm just going to get an order ready. We've had a trend up break, new high, trend up break. Okay, see if we can get something around here. Let's get ready. Now that is a possible second entry long, so let me just make this a bit bigger so I don't get this wrong. It's actually coming out of the bottom of the range as well. So let's just see what happens here. Okay, second entry long, I like that. Let's just take that to maybe, probably going to go higher, but I might just follow it up a little bit like that. Go on. Okay, alright, what did I get out of that? Not as much as I was hoping. I thought it might push a bit stronger than that. What did I get? Let's have a look. Oh, 1.25. Oh, I thought it was a little bit more than that. Okay. What did it go for? I kind of like the bar, second entry long, right off the key entry point. It made a new high as well. Okay, so that was okay. Let's have a little look. What do we get out of that? What did it go? It went for, it didn't go for a massive amount, so okay. I was expecting to go a little bit higher actually, but I think we had a couple of good strong pushes up, so okay, so a little bit of sideways, broke out the bottom, most breakouts fail, which it did. We'd had this push up, we hadn't made a new high, so it's a second entry long from a break, and it had broken out the bottom of the range, so as far as I'm concerned that was worth the trade, and it got us a bit anyway, so still made money, yeah, okay. What I should have probably done in this, see, because we've had such this strong move up, I was expecting it to push out a bit higher, which is why I didn't drop my stop in there, but it all helps, doesn't it? So I think that was a 1.25, did I say? But yeah, it all helps, doesn't it? Yeah, 1.25. It all helps to pay the bills. Done that one, have I? What did I get there? I think it was about 9.5, I think. Yeah, I thought it would push a little bit stronger, but I suppose we're getting to the top of this channel, so I suppose the chance of it doing some sideways before we had a push up, I think, was quite likely anyway, but maybe we might work up like this. Kind of a nice trend, that. I like that. It's working nice. Yeah, so hopefully we may get some opportunities if we're lucky. The bar just kept going, did it really? Yeah, I think that's all right, okay. I put money on Mac marking that. We had a break out the channel, so we had this push up. We had a break, a little bit of sideways, drop out the bottom, right at the key entry point, EMA's facing upwards. Most breakouts fail, and it was a breakout of the channel and a second entry long, so that's a good trade, I think. You got 3 points on the next one, on this one here, did you? Yeah, it's a bit hard to. See, the trouble is it's back in the range there, isn't it? So, but I think we were going to be going up for a second leg at some point. We're getting to the top end of this, the top part of this range. Channel. So I was expecting some kind of a pullback, and we did when we dropped out the bottom. nice to add a notation reasons for the trade. I tend to not really, mate. Well, what I'll do is later I'll put a second entry long. I don't tend to do the. I look at the trades later and go, okay, let's look at my trades. Was that a good trade? Yes. Was it a good trade? No, and so on. I don't tend to write them, but I always save my my charts, so I can always look back. But yeah, I suppose I know some people will put a box in and start typing in there, but I tend to not when I'm trading really, because sometimes you can. I've missed a good trade like that before, but I usually put in second entry long or a failure or whatever it is there. That one there. It's weird, isn't it? If you get a push down there and it pushes up as like a sort of a bearish pin bar, it's a lot more attractive to take something like that than the straight green bar. I noticed there was a trade I did about a week ago. We'd had a channel down and we had a couple of legs out and a break. I had it pushed up above the EMA and then pushed down and closed with the body just under it, exactly how I like to take it. And I took that trade, and when I saw Marco's, his was one straight big solid red bar, which tells you the same thing, but for some reason doesn't look as attractive as you know, a nice sort of a pin bar sitting, you know, nice and something like that. If that was green, I'd be more interested in taking that than if it was a solid green bar. So it's weird how these little sort of psychological things change your opinion. Have you done a withdrawal yet? How did it go? I've put one in. You put one in between the 1st and the 5th, and it just says pending at the moment. We're the 6th today, so whether that will change, and I believe it comes out a couple of days out of your balance, a couple of days before the 15th. Now, if I remember rightly, the 15th, I think, finishes on a Saturday or a Sunday. So I'm assuming, like most people, possibly pay on a Friday, I don't know. But when I get it, or I get the email or something like that, I will post it. So kind of nice to see. It's nice to see that something's gone through. Have a look. Yeah, the 15th is on a Sunday next week. So whether they pay it on the Friday, which is the 13th, I don't know. Friday the 13th. Perhaps I don't want to know actually on Friday the 13th. I think I might wait for the Monday, but... and then I'm assuming that comes off. I mean, the plan was all along before to get a first payment was to get to $7,000. So then when I take it off, but I'm about $300 off there now, and we've got 6, so 7, 8, we've got 9, 10, 11, 12. So I've got about 4 or 5 days trading next week before that comes off there. So all being well, should after 4 or 5 days trading be comfortably. Well, I hope so. Another $320 higher than I am now, and that would give me the $7,000. There's a link in Mac's forum for that. What, for the payment? Oh, sorry. I apologise. The news, yeah. It's I was going to ask people what that was. I'm assuming that's to do with the trade copy. I think I opened that up the other day. But anyway, yeah, it's the AWX Economic News. That's what it is. But there are various news websites I tend to have a browse now and again. But yeah, that's it. It's as useful to have. And what I used to do before I was trading, and we had news, I've got one of those Alexas next to me. I just used to tell the Alexa to let me know like 30 minutes before, and a lot of times I'd write high impact news. I've forgotten before. Fortunately, it was on a demo. But obviously, when there's money involved, you really don't want to be forgetting that. Yeah, there is one. JT, I think I've got that as well. I think it's very similar, isn't it? Let's have a look. I probably can't see it now. Let's move that over. Yeah, that's it there, I think. Yeah, it's a different one for some reason. I don't know why I had that one. I don't know why I've got that one. Not too sure. But it is useful to have it. I just tend to have the high impact and the medium impact. I didn't used to have the medium impact, but there was a quick movement a couple of weeks ago, and somebody mentioned that there was some Chicago type news or something. So I just I had that. But it is useful to have it, because if you're trading throughout the news, I mean, even if the trouble is, a lot of the times when you look at something like that, it has a strong push up, and sometimes it shot down before it shot up, so sometimes it doesn't matter where you're in a trade, you get stopped out either way. You're a new face, actually, aren't you? Yassine, is that how you say it? Yassine. If you've not joined Mac's group, I highly recommend it. It's very good, and not only that, it's exceptionally cheap. It's about $120 for a year. I've never seen a course or membership of a website to learn to trade anywhere near as cheap as that. It's good value. There's lots of useful tools on there as well that you can apply to your chart just to make life easier. And there's lots of videos as well explaining everything. I think my year ran out last June, but I was tempted to join again, because I think it's useful to keep going over these things, because you can slip into bad habits. So I think it's useful from time to time just to keep going back to basics and watch the basics again. Low impact news in 7 minutes. Yeah, I noticed Mac or Marco or Daniel doesn't have low impact news on there, but just out of interest, be interested to see what happens. Okay, so we've had those two legs up, and yeah, to the nearest couple of ticks, isn't it? It's kind of a nice trend that's worked up there. I thought after those two bits of good news, it was a possibility we were going to get a good strong move up. Caught 3 points on that. Thank Reg Bar, kick me out. You went off from here, I'm assuming, did you, or here? YouTube, if you just search price action trading system, I think that's what it is, priceactiontradingsystem.com. Jerry, yeah, you're a new face. Welcome, Jerry. Highly recommend it. $120. That's so cheap. My wife spends that a month on makeup. Yeah, absolutely. It's the cheapest you'll find. Any type of course like this, that's so cheap. It's excellent value for money. It's hard sometimes to recommend things to people if they're interested in trading because, you don't want them to spend a lot of money initially. You don't know whether it's something they're going to like or take to, but for $120, you really can't go wrong. That's, priceactiontradingsystem.com. I absolutely recommend it. He's a nice guy. But even just if you want to get a feel for Mac, if you search priceactiontradingsystem.com on YouTube, he's got over 2,000 videos going back 12 years. So you can watch him and listen to him and get a feel for him if you want. But exceptional value for money. And he's a nice chap as well. And if you are part of his group, you get access to, you can send him some emails. There's all sorts of bits and pieces, loads of training videos, loads of tools. Useful tools on there. Absolutely recommend it. Hello, Nemesis Turtle. You've been here before. I recognise your little icon there. Emily, I missed something from you. Okay, I passed 20 evals and 50 evals also. Up to 1,220 evals today. Haven't touched 51 yet, so. Good to see you up a grand. Yeah, it makes a change, actually. I did have 3 well, actually, not terrible days. I think I lost a total of about $750, which over 3 days isn't a huge amount, actually. It could have been a lot worse. So the good thing is you get quite a nice day like this, and that will cover that. So it's just keeping it in mind that just because you've lost a bit and you've had some bad days, it doesn't mean you're not going to recover from it. And in most cases, if you keep yourself calm, which I've got to say, I found it hard to do this time round, in most cases, you'll recover fine. And then once you're back above where you were and you're moving on up again, and you sort of get your confidence back. But I've got to say, this is the first time I've actually been dealing with real money. I've got to $1,200 before on an evaluation. But now I'm at this money, I know now I can earn money. So that adds a sort of a different level of pressure. So I did have one day last week where I felt a lot of pressure. My neck felt really stiff. I found it very hard to keep calm and I was pretty stressed. But fortunately for me, a few days go by and I seem to heal pretty quick to sort of come back with a vengeance. So I'm quite lucky there. Okay, there is a possible second entry long here, but we have had 2 pushes up and we're right at the top of this trend channel, so I'll probably feel a little bit more comfortable about maybe coming back to this side of it. But having said that, we have push break. But just how bearish as that is, I would probably expect it to come a little bit further down because we've come right to the top now. So a couple of legs down and going along here. There was a setup anyway. Happy to be here. We're happy to have you. Where are you from, Jerry? Just out of interest, I'd like to know where people are from. I'm guessing you're US, are you? I think most of you guys are. What platform is this? This is NinjaTrader. NinjaTrader 8. And what we're trading here is Max system, priceactiontradingsystem.com. So if you're new to trading or you're new to this style of it and you want to look it up, it's incredibly cheap for a year. It's $120 a year. Max system is priceactiontradingsystem.com. Look it up. And it's $120 for the year. It's full of really interesting trading videos on this whole setup and strategy. So yeah, almost everywhere. Yeah, I'd say it's, Jerry. Oh, Columbus, Ohio. Excellent. Columbus, Ohio. Fantastic. Yeah, it is a possible failed second entry long, but if you got to keep the context right. The context is up, the bias is up. I'm not saying it's not going to come down, but that, especially there, would be counter trend trading. If it breaks below, and it's probably likely going to go up and stop you out. I'm not saying it's not going to come lower, but it just makes things more risky when you're or counter trend trading, trend the opposite direction. So I'm guessing there's a good chance that may push up. It wasn't that bearish, so it may not have a lot of. I mean, sometimes if that's very bearish, that might encourage buyers then to sort of buy above here and encourage the market to put up. So, Austin, you're from Canada, great, excellent. We have got some other Canadians in. I think Kirk's Canadian. There is a few others in the mix somewhere. Quite a few people from Canada. Canada. Okay, maybe we are pushing towards this side of the channel. Yeah, see, at the moment the bias is up really, so you don't really want to be shorting just there, I'd say. I'm not saying it's not going to work, but I think the general rule with Max is you don't really want to be going short there. It's obviously working in this case. Well, you just went down a few points, I think. Trouble is, fortunately, it wasn't a very good bearish bar really anyway, not something that would attract many people to go short. Yeah, the uptrend played out with a bright new high, yeah. Usually then we have a little bit of back to this side or recovery and then push up again. We had that there, didn't we? Sort of a break, new high, pull back to the EMA, pushed up again. I'm guessing soon it's going to be possibly keep on going up. It seems like a sort of nice, steady. I kind of like it when it's like this. It's got more chance of continuing up than when it's not too steep. I kind of like that. We've had these pushes up, and then we've had these little bits of recoveries. Just passed my Apex account and was looking for a channel to trade with. Okay. Apex accounts. Your evaluations. You've done some evaluations, have you? Got 2 points off that. Figured already. We had several highs now. Yeah, I used to short times like this when we had that, and I used to get bollockins off Daniel and Marco for counter trend trading, so I tend to avoid them now. Sometimes you pull back here like this after we've had a break in a new high, and you can get suckered into going short, and sometimes it'll trigger, come down and stop you out, and then shoot up. But set up the rush above here. Break new low. I wonder if it will come back to this side. It might not even. But if it is, it's going to be a higher low or a failure, I think, to get above that EMA. Kind of like that we have these nice pullbacks, because then it's not steep enough to come crashing down. We get this nice steady on move then. I have a measured move. Right, it's a possible area to consider long, yeah. I suppose it depends how strong the momentum is, isn't it? I mean, the bias has been quite strong, hasn't it? So it may not even come back down and it's a new low. We may strongly push up. It's hard to say. Target's still above 3,900. Yeah, I would absolutely say so. The way things are looking today. How long have we been trading? 2 hours. It's still quite early yet. Yeah, it does seem strong. It may not even come back. Yeah, the evaluation account. Yeah, $300 away from passing mine. Feeling the pressure. So if you're $300, I'm assuming it's a 50,000 account. So if you've made 2,700, I'd say it's just a matter of time, mate. I would say. You wouldn't have got up there if you didn't know what you were doing. The only bit that makes it difficult is the psychological side. But as for the skill side, if you've made it up there, and that you're feeling the pressure, just means you care about it. That's all right. Nothing wrong with that. You feel a bit of pressure, just means you care about what's happened, and that's all right. If you'd have gone short there, what would you have had? So you'd have got you'd have got 2.5 points out of that. Maybe a touch less. I don't know when it finished. Yeah, you'd have got 2.5 points out of that. Yeah, but focusing on second entry longs and second entry shorts. Yeah. Yeah, if that's all you ever take is second entry longs, second entry shorts, you're made. I think they're your bread and butter trades anyway. But yeah, it's exciting when you pass. Get your certificate and print it out. I've got 9 of them. No, I think I stopped printing after number 2, I think. That's fell, by the way. This is the first one I've actually managed to build up. The other 8 I failed. So if you get your first one above $1,200, you've done better than I have over the last 8 of them. So yeah, the trick is just nice and steady. Nice and steady. Yeah, I don't even think it's going to come down and break and come down to here. That I think the upward momentum's pretty strong there. Second entry long. Yeah, I'm definitely thinking long at the moment. $39. Yeah, I think we're going to come here, aren't we? The way things are going on, it may even keep on going up. It's not that far away, is it? break new high if we come back to the EMA. I'd say it's likely we're going to have another push up. I think it's pushed too strongly above to make a new low from this break. Just with the way the momentum is, I can't see it. I can't see it coming down to here. I mean, every time it comes to the EMA, it pushes above, broke below, strongly pushed above, broke below, or at the bottom of the range, strongly pushed above. So I can't see it coming down here. It's just a bit too risky to go long that. I think it's likely it's going to go. I just don't like the. I just prefer them to come a little bit closer, I think. Excuse me, just a couple of minutes. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay. Perhaps we will break this low. That's a nice trend, that. Nice to get more of those. Certainly easy to read and trade in these choppy arse days. Is really risky. Anything that may stop us is going higher is down. Yeah. I really try and avoid shorts when we get a nice sort of steady uptrend like that. Just risky that, in my opinion, going along there. I think with the way we had this strong push down, I sort of favour we make a new low there, make a new extreme. Usually you do whenever we sort of have a channel, we have a break, a new extreme, new low. Obviously, but we'll be in the up. See, this could be a second entry long as well, so it's hard to say. See where this comes down. If his finish is bullish, then I may be interested in going along, but what's the website for the tick counter? It is tick counter. Okay, you mean this, yeah? That's part of let me just get rid of this a minute. That's part of Mac's system, that is. Okay, that is a second entry long. It's just the way I don't like the way those three are sitting side by side. It probably is going to go long, but it's just a bit congested there. There's something I don't quite like about that. I think with just the momentum of the bullish move up, there's something I don't like there. It's strongly come down here, then I think unless we continue to push high, I think it's risky that. I'd like to break this now. Yeah, okay. So if anyone went there long there, was a second entry long, lovely bullish bar, but it's just closed at the bottom of the EMA. And I think after this break, with that big strong push down, then I'm favouring we're coming down to around about here. So that, I think that is part of max. This one here, if you just wanted this one, that I got free from a website. And that is that bar size counter. It's from www.ticktech.com, TICKTEC.com, ticktech.com, and that was free. But reference the 2000 tick count. That was from, I believe, it's from Max. Unless it does come free as part of this. Someone else might be up here there. I'm pretty sure it's from Max. Okay, I expect it now to make a new low, or at least finish close to here. Yeah, you're welcome. It is kind of nice to have that there. I probably don't use it as much as I can. I'm more focused now on the actual quality of the bar rather than the size of it, but it's I got an idea. I mean, at the moment the ATR is quite low. The average bar is around 2.5 points, which is quite small nowadays. So with a tick above, tick below, your average risk is going to be 3 points, which I think is pretty good. Okay, so we have made a new low. And we've got a big bullish bar there, which I think is not something I want to get into just yet. I'd rather wait to get up here a little bit first. I think it's likely we're going to go up, but it's yeah, see what I mean? It's as useful to have that sometimes. I mean, you probably don't need that to see that's a big bar only, but tick above, tick below, it's quite a risk, that is. You're talking 5 points of risk there, especially when it's closed below the EMA. That's a great tick counter indicator when you want it to. Yeah. There's probably a lot of free stuff around. I've got to say, when I put that on there about a year ago, I had some problems with it for some reason. I'd have bars printed next to them, and they'd sort of be half a bar. Half of it would be blank. It was just a bit weird. So I just took screenshots of all my settings and then literally wiped everything clear and started again with a fresh page. Yeah, I thought that was likely going to happen. It's just the way it closed below it just makes me a little bit nervous. In fact, it may even be a little bit sideways there. So even if we get a higher low, I'm a little bit inclined to give that one a miss. Because maybe we may have a little bit of a range here. I think because we've come back to the start of this channel, I think that's a good indicator that the possibility we're going to move higher, but just the way that it seems a little bit sideways for me, I just probably going to avoid things around there. It actually fits really nice, doesn't it? Touch there, it's closed beautifully there. Tops are fitting nice. It's really a nice clean range, that. I gotta say, it's nice when you have a good day like that. It certainly makes things a lot more straightforward. I'm gonna say I heard Mac saying that he much prefers a range day. The trouble is, the range days lately, over the last few months, every time they hit the top, they hit it at a different place, and it makes things a lot trickier. If they were all hitting the same place every time, things would be a lot more straightforward. But yeah, that's closed. And that's finished there in the body of it. I thought that may happen. Usually having a trend and a break, we make a new extreme. I think it's likely we will in this scenario, obviously with the uptrend being so generally so strong. But you just don't quite know at the moment. I like to think it's going to push higher, but I'm guessing there's likely going to be some shorts there, so it could come down. It could come down to here. If we can break below here and get something nice and bullish, then I'm interested in going along there, because we've had this push up, we've had a break, and I'm looking for a new high. It did come back lovely to the bottom of the channel. We've had a push and a break, so I'm expecting a new high, but I want it really to break down here. Now I've got a nice amount of money in the bank. I like it to be extra particular. But I think with the way that's running there, if we can push down and finish nice and bullish, then I favour to get up here somewhere, then break this high. That's where I expect it to get to. Somebody did mention up here, so it's certainly, I think it's likely going to get up here. So if we do get a nice candle, I'm expecting it to go higher, but I don't like the fact that it hasn't broken below there. Jack, I'd say max stuff for $120 for the year, mate. For what you get out of it, I think is great value. Not just for the tools, but just to go over videos and just to cover, you know, various different setups. In fact, I'm tempted, and I probably will go back to it, because, you know, I kind of believe sometimes, you know, like when you learn to drive, you know, you do everything by the book in the right way, and then sometimes you can pick up bad habits. So it's also, I think it's always good to go back to basics. So I think I'll do that at some point. So I'd say absolutely, just for the sake of $120, that's so cheap, that is. I mean, can you get a decent night out with you and your wife for $120 nowadays? Probably not really. If we can get above here, I think we'll get a little bit of a push, because there's possibly going to be some shorts there, being the way that's sitting. I just, something about that I didn't quite like. I certainly expect another leg up there. And I would say if we get above this, we'll likely get a quick spike. It may be there that the shorts have put their stops, because that's tick one above there. Oh, thank you, Jacko. That's much appreciated, my friend. Thanks, mate. I appreciate that. It is up there if anyone wants to use it. To be honest with you, if you want it, then I'd say, yeah, take one. But what I will say is they do have the 80% off. They seem to almost have it monthly. So if you need one, then I'd say, yeah, take one. And if you want to use my code, I'd appreciate it. It doesn't cost you anything extra. But personally, I would say if you don't need one or you're not desperate for one, wait a bit longer to get the 80% off because it doesn't make a difference. But the choice is yours. The choice is yours. But yeah, I get a little kickback for it. It is a possible failure here. I am expecting it to go higher. But there's something about that I don't quite like. It is sideways. I prefer it to break below here, then push up bullish before I'd think about taking a failure. It is a bit sideways, although I am expecting it to go higher. Yeah, in fact, Jacko, you get all the news on there. Let me have a quick look. You get the new. What do I use? That's max. That's something to. Yeah, you get the 2000 tick chart, which is that you get. You get the news. There's this bunch of other things you can get, and also the training videos as well. I think they're really good. I kind of like this. See how it finishes. It is still a little bit sideways, but in fact, no, there's something about that I don't like. I think it's probably likely going to go up. I think it's really likely going to go up. It's quite a big old bar that. It has triggered above. I think if we can get above possibly this and this, but I don't know. It's a little bit sideways for me. Could take a limit order down here and ride it up. I think it's likely going to push up. It's just a bit risky. And it is 89. It's 3.25 points. Tick above, tick below. 3.75 points. You could take it down here, actually. If you're going to have a go at that, I'd recommend take it down here. That way you're only risking half. But I just think that's a bit risky. It is a failure. And I'm expecting it to go up. But the way that's looking, I'll be shocked if the shorts don't push that below there. Because if they do, I'd say it's likely going to come to here. Possibly the bottom of the range. But I think it may push down and that then will be a second entry long. I'll be shocked if that doesn't come down and stop and tick below. Maybe come down a touch more. This may be an area where we get a break and a push up and widen the trend channel. I use price action, tool, indicator news, and replicanto. And there's everything tick going to bar size. Yeah. There's lots of stuff out there, isn't there? There's lots of good stuff out there. I was kind of hoping that would trigger because that's a double trap. It's a failure, which is triggered. And if that ticks below there, that short's triggered. That is a lower high, a higher low, lower high. That's triggered. So I was kind of hoping that would take down here because then I'd expect it then to move up. It still might yet. Okay, that second entry long's triggered. That could, so there's probably some longs in there, and I'd say there's definitely some longs in there, and I'd say there's some shorts in there. So I'd say if it gets above here, I think it's likely we'll have a good strong push. Just the way it is at the moment, I don't want to get stuck into these traps. But if it can get above here, then I expect it to shoot up and break this high really quickly. Because we've had this new height, and we've had one push-up, two push-up. It's tried to break it a few times, and sometimes that encourages shorts to try and pick the top, thinking we're going to come down. So I'd say, although that hasn't triggered that, so... no, it hasn't. I thought it had triggered. It hasn't. So I think it's going to push up. Not quite as strongly as I was expecting, but... Okay. That's a failed second entry long, which is triggered. Now, if we break up above here, possibly there, then I think the longer this goes sideways and we keep getting these traps, and I'd say there's probably, I think we might, if we do push up and get above here, I think we'll have a really strong push up. It's just, I've got a nice sum for the day, so I don't really want to get stuck into here, but I think if it pushes, I think the stops will be here, possibly here, and then I think we'll have a really strong push up really quickly. Yeah, I think there'll be some shorts in there, but you just can't trade that really. It's just too dangerous. Although if a short was trading it on the assumption that they were going to try and catch it as a big down move, it'd obviously be worth their while, but for what we're doing. But I think it's going to break above here. It'll have a really strong pop. I think it's going to be lightly above here, I'd say. That's probably where their stops are likely to be, isn't it? And my fancy is for a new high. It's actually a really nice trend, that, isn't it? Makes a change to get something like that. Okay, there's a new high. Update your account. I still believe there's lots of traders that don't work with stop losses. Trouble is, if something happens, you get some sort of really, really bad. The thing is about bad news. We have some sort of disaster. It comes through in a matter of seconds and minutes, doesn't it? It doesn't happen instantly like it does if traders are sat with a finger on the button with news. But there was an incident. Didn't the market lose something like? When was it? It was something like a couple of 100 points or so, something silly like that, really quickly in a couple of bars, I think, a few years ago. Yeah, there's that pop I was expecting. I was expecting it a bit lower. Yeah, if you'd have took that long, or you'd have took that long, or you'd have took that long, you'd have been safe. I think it was highly likely it was going to push up with the momentum. But obviously the sideways stuff, you just don't want to trade as much as that one, and that one wouldn't have got stopped out. It's just, as much as we all think it's likely going to come up, it's just too risky to get into it, isn't it? So I think that's probably going to be it now, guys, actually. It's been a nice day for a change. Nice solid green day. Makes a change. So we are, where are we, Friday today, yeah. So that is it now until Monday. I'm trading Monday. Makes a change to have something like that. Certainly a bit easier to trade than that lot of crap. It's just bouncing all over the place. It's so easy to get stuck and make a quick bad judgment there. So yeah, that is it for me today. I appreciate everybody coming along and hooking up. Nice chatting to you as all. Hopefully you've all made a little bit of money today. You grab 5 of that. Let's go on. For me, yeah, I think everyone's got a bit of something today. I don't think no one's had any big losses, have they, today? I don't think. So everyone's had a good day. So you're welcome, Keith. Yeah. You too, Keith. Kim. Yeah, it's nice to meet up and have a chat. It's certainly even nicer when you have a nice green day. You're welcome. And when I've had last few rocky days, it's nice to have something positive. Especially to go into the weekend. It just makes that weekend a little bit less stressful, doesn't it? But I'm off up the ladder now. I'm working my way to the 3rd or 4th run, and we're slowly moving up. I'm now on the highest I've had so far. Had a couple of rocky days, a few rocky days, a couple of sleepless nights, but it's all part and parcel of it. It adds a whole different level of pressure, I think, when you actually start to build account, because you really want to protect it then. And that's, you tend to get extra careful. But I think I've done an okay job at it. I've had a few hairy moments and I've taken a few questionable trades, but I haven't slipped back into that revenge trading where I jump in randomly that I used to do. So I'm pleased the way things are going. And obviously, streaming is helping. It's just given me a little bit of... when people are watching you, you're less likely to do something stupid. So, and it's nice chat with a bunch of other people who've got the same interest. Because we've all spoke to it about our friends and family, haven't we? And it goes in one ear out the other, and they just got that look of complete boredom on your face. It's nice when you meet other people who've got the same interest. That's half the problem when you've got an interest, isn't it? It's finally somebody willing to listen to you rabbiting on a bit. People tend to get bored, so it is nice to chat to people. So look, everybody have a nice, great weekend. Have a safe weekend. Relax, let your hair down. Do what you got to do, and then we'll be back here nice and fresh and raring to go on Monday. So have a great weekend, and I will see you all just before the market opens on Monday. So thanks very much. I really